This is how I made more than $4,000 in less than 2 hours. Let's get into it right away. So we were doing NY session. As you guys already know, mostly we trade the NY session, focusing on gold solely. On this day, we already swept the high on the previous day. The previous daily high got swept, so we already broke the high of the previous day. At that point, one of our bread and butter setups is that we wait for price to come back into a 1 hour imbalance. And in this case, we did that because according to our data, a lot of times price will come back into a 1 hour imbalance, but maybe not tap right away into a 1 hour demand or supply. So rather we look at the imbalance. What did price do in here? So if you're not familiar with the way I trade, one of the key things of my trading, of course, it's supply and demand, imbalances, price action, but also a very key thing is that I focus on timing. I really care about specific time frames of the markets, especially during NY session. So what am I trying to say with that? Let's see what time we took that trade actually. So going on to the lower time frames. So first of all, let's go to the 1 hour time frame and let's go one candle back. So we have this 1 hour candle closing below the previous daily high, but leaving a substantially strong wick behind. And as we know, wicks can get filled. Not all of them, but at least you will see a partial wick fill. So I know that once this candle opened, the 1 hour candle did not have a huge top wick. We just dropped straight away. So I already know from my experience that price most likely will come to create that top wick. So we dropped with the first 15-minute candle at 10 a.m. So if I remember right, we had news on that day. So 10 a.m. we had news. So now let's get into the context here, guys. This is really important when you're trading gold. So at this point, NY open, we were just pushing up. No entries for us whatsoever. We are not trading breakout strategies in here. So we were pushing up, created some kind of structure in here, and NYSE, just before NYSE, we had a push up above the previous daily high. So in this case, next 15-minute candle of NYSE closed back below the previous daily high. So this is really important, and we also did not tap into that 1 hour supply up there. So these are really, really key factors that we have to look into. So what do we have now? Look, price is just closing imbalances in here. Like you can see, we had an imbalance here on the 15-minute. We had an imbalance up there, a small one, tiny one. And price just closed those imbalances really, really aggressively. So at this point, we were waiting for the bigger imbalance, for the 1 hour imbalance, which is really, really important. So with the news, we are tapping that area aggressively because if you look, just one 5-minute candle penetrated through all of these lows. So then what did we do in here? I checked, okay, I want to see these lows being swept. And then we even closed below. So the next thing for me is definitely wait for at least a 5-minute pin bar or an engulfing candle, but I want to see a major break of structure on the 1 minutes also, on the lower time frames. So what happened in here? 1 minutes are building up something pretty strong. We had a 1 minute engulfing candle bearish, but that got broken right away. And then some key factors is that, look, what is price doing? We are closing these 1 minute bearish imbalances. And this is really key, guys. This is really important for my trading. So now we're seeing, okay, price is giving us that idea that we slowly but surely are getting that strength to push higher. So the target is there. Everything is there. Only thing I need right now is just execution confirmations. So at this point, what do we wait for at this point? So 5-minute candle closed And I personally, I don't like to enter just before a 15-minute candle closure. One of the rules, 4-hour candle, 10 minutes of the 4-hour candle, last 10 minutes, I don't enter a trade. I don't enter the last 10 minutes of a 1-hour candle a trade. I don't like that. I don't like to be, I like to call it John Wick in the markets, you know, because you will end up being the wick of the candle. So in this case, I wait for that 50-minute candle close. So what do we wait for now? Let's see what the next 5-minute candle is doing. Look, next 5-minute candle coming down aggressively and rejecting these areas once again, and we are closing above the daily open. So the daily open is really important. As you guys can see, like we are really holding up that area aggressively. So what do we have in here now? Look, this was my signal to get into this trade. We had this 1-minute imbalance. Let me just slide this long position to the side so you guys can identify this better. So we are closing this 1-minute imbalance at this point. And this is also a 5-minute closure. So once the new 5-minute candle is opening, right there, I'm hopping into that trade. This is my execution time. This is the time where I execute on this trade. You know, look, we close that imbalance, pull back in here, at the flip pretty much right there with the spreads and everything. My execution was pretty much there, having a stop loss of around like 27 pips. From there on, the rest is history. I'm just holding that trade and just monitoring my position. And how am I doing that? What are the key factors of me managing the trade? So some key factors for me are definitely, I'm looking, for example, on this 5-minute, I'm looking for these imbalances to be respected, and also on the 1-minute. So what do you see here? Some people would say maybe, oh, that 5-minute candle is rejecting. Are you not gonna manage your risk? Yeah, I mean, some people may get scared, but if you look closely, you will see that we closed that imbalance right there. See, guys, we had this imbalance here on the 5 minutes. Look, I'm gonna slide that over, but we closed that pretty much at the imbalance, but it pretty much closed it, so that's fine. And what are we doing there? Then I'm hopping onto the 1-minute and I'm looking, okay, what is price doing? We're having a pullback, not the end of the day, like nothing crazy, because that's now a bullish 5-minute candle where price is reacting. Look at that. We have this 5-minute bullish candles, 5-minute bullish imbalance in here, and price is reacting from that imbalance. And this is really good. So we have nothing to worry about. Let's see, next 5-minute candle. At this point, only thing we're gonna monitor is how is price respecting these imbalances. And by the way, something really key that we always do, we always do this, we manage our risk accordingly to our positions. So after this pullback and the break of structure, this trade at that point was at break even. So this trade, we had no risk anymore left. But I didn't secure anything just yet. So I was just holding this position, but I'm managing my risk. I'm always managing my risk every time. So what happened after that? We are seeing 5-minute candles closing bullish. And at this point, see like how price is now filling up those imbalances. Like we're reacting from the imbalances. And at this point, my stops are moved, you know, in profit. I'm moving my stops into profits, and I'm not risking anything because I like to really like squeeze out my winners, you know. When I'm in drawdown, I like to manage my drawdown pretty strict. Like I try to lose as minimum as possible, you know. But when I'm in a winning position, I'm not scared. I will leave that win and try to really like maximize my winners. So my stop loss is like my trailing stop before was right here, yeah. This is my trailing stop, but after this break of structure, my trailing stop is right here. I'm trailing my stop actively, you know. And at this point, we pull up the original stop loss, guys. At this point, this trade is around the 3R at the previous daily high. But normally I would maybe secure partials right there, but from my experience, I do know that I can squeeze out a little bit more than that, on this position. So that's why I'm still holding on to that trade and letting my winners run and do the heavy lifting in there. So from there on, price was pulling back a little bit also because we are having that 30-minute candle. New 30-minute candles can do pullbacks, bottom wicks, top wicks, whatever it might be. But we know where the direction is going. So at that point, I'm just holding that position, and I'm seeing this 5-minute candle closing beautifully, and I know that our direction is to the upside, So I'm still holding that position, still holding this pullback also, and now final bullish closure for me to see, okay, most likely we're about to hit the target, and right there, the 62, that was pretty much exactly the target. Closed it a little bit before, if I remember right. Closed a little bit before. Just right here, I'll put up my C-Trader screenshot so you guys can see that I actually took this trade. We're not faking anything in here, guys. Yeah, this is the real screenshot of my C-Trader. And yeah, this is basically the trade that I took. From there on, we were just dropping, gave that chance to close out that position one more time. But from there on, price was just ranging. And yeah, trade duration was about like 1.5 hours. Pretty simple, easy, stress-free trade. Wasn't didn't see any drawdown whatsoever. And trade the stop accordingly. That's how I always do it. I like to really manage my risk. When I'm in drawdown, I like to cut my winners, but really try to squeeze my winners. That's how I make majority of my money, because I have a high win rate, but I have not such a high trade frequency. When I have winners, those winners are big. And that's what you should aim for. When you win, you should aim to win big. And when you lose, you should try to lose, pretty small, like as small as possible, But of course, depends on your strategy. This is how I trade. Hope you guys took value from this trade breakdown. This is how I made more than $4,000 in less than 2 hours. And if you want to learn from verified traders, join the Funded Brothers Discord community. I'll see you there.